Ethan jolted awake to the roar of heavy machinery shaking the foundations of his log cabin. Heart pounding, he stumbled outside into the crisp Nevada mountain air, only to find a swarm of construction crews tearing up his land. Bulldozers ripped through the earth, and workers hammered stakes into what had been his peaceful meadow. A stern-faced foreman shoved a 72-hour eviction notice into his hands, citing severe safety violations from a supposed engineering report. The signature at the bottom? Victoria Hargrove, the iron-fisted president of the Willow Creek Estates HOA. At 42, Ethan was a freelance land surveyor who'd inherited this 40-acre slice of heaven from his grandfather back in 1987. The old man had built the cabin with his bare hands, a sanctuary amid the rugged peaks where Ethan had found solace after years of city chaos. No neighbors, no noise, just the whisper of pines and the occasional elk call. But now, Willow Creek Estates was creeping closer, a sprawling subdivision of cookie-cutter mansions devouring the wilderness. The Hargrove family, with Victoria at the helm, was notorious for their ruthless tactics, bending rules to expand their empire. Fury boiled in Ethan's veins as he marched to the site. "This is my property. What the hell do you think you're doing?" he shouted at the foreman. Victoria arrived moments later, stepping out of a sleek SUV in designer boots, her face a mask of feigned concern. "Mr. Cross, your cabin's a hazard, structural weaknesses, landslide risks. We're building a warehouse here for community storage. It's for the greater good." She flashed a confidential report, but Ethan spotted the red flags. No official stamps, dubious data. When he pressed her, she sneered, "Question me, and you'll regret it. We have lawyers who eat people like you for breakfast." In a heated aside, away from the crew, Victoria's mask slipped. "It's not about my brother Sammy's needs," she admitted with a cold laugh, referencing the disabled sibling she paraded as her moral shield. "It's about control. This land should be mine, productive, not wasted on some hermit." Her arrogance was staggering, a blatant power grab disguised as benevolence. Ethan knew then, this wasn't safety, it was theft. No permits on file, and the report screamed forgery. As a surveyor, he vowed to map out every inch of this fraud and fight back. He started documenting obsessively photos stamped with GPS coordinates, timestamps on every bulldozer track and fence post. He rigged up a high-tech surveillance system, cameras hidden in the trees capturing every move. At the county office, systems were mysteriously down, clerks stonewalling him. But after hours, a sympathetic clerk named Sarah pulled him aside. "That report? Signed by Edward Harlan, an engineer who died 2 years ago. It's fake as they come." Digging deeper, Ethan uncovered a web of deceit spanning decades. The Hargroves had altered boundaries, forged easements, and swindled properties under the HOA's veneer of legitimacy. It reeked of organized crime payoffs to officials, intimidation tactics, all to fuel their real estate dynasty. Harassment ramped up. Armed security patrols circled his cabin at night. Bogus utility inspections cut his power, and HOA notices flooded his mailbox, finding him 4 eyesores, like his grandfather's old barn. Ethan recorded it all, turning his isolation into a fortress of evidence. Desperate, he hired Rebecca Lawson, a sharp former prosecutor who'd taken down corrupt officials before. She reviewed his files and whistled. "The Hargroves are connected judges, council members. They've buried cases with threats. But this? We've got them." To lure Victoria out, Ethan pretended to negotiate, feigning defeat. She bit, handing over more damning documents, phony surveys, and reports that sealed her fate. Then came the insider blow. Sophia Hargrove, Victoria's niece and the family's bookkeeper, also Sammy's devoted sister, reached out anonymously at first, then in person. "Aunt Victoria's lying about everything," she whispered over coffee in a dingy diner. "The thefts weren't for Sammy's care. They funded her lavish life. I've seen the book's millions siphoned. And those threats? I overheard her plotting to handle you permanently." Sophia slipped him originals, deeds proving the Hargroves had stolen dozens of acres over the years. Ethan connected the dots with other victims. Jack Reynolds lost 2 acres in 2018 after fake boundary disputes. Elena Vargas's lakefront paradise vanished in 2015 amid forged permits. Mike Donovan's driveway was annexed in 2012 via a sham law firm. All shared stories of harassment, anonymous calls, vandalized homes, even pets poisoned. The pattern was chilling. The HOA as a front for a criminal syndicate, preying on the vulnerable while Victoria played the benevolent matriarch. United, the victims filed a massive lawsuit. Sarah smuggled out county records showing 50 years of fraud, bribes, altered maps. Sophia secretly recorded Victoria's rants, her voice dripping with entitlement. These peasants don't deserve land. I'll crush them all. The evidence pile grew, but so did the danger. One night, Victoria herself broke into Ethan's cabin, smashing a window to steal his drives caught crystal clear on camera. She was arrested for burglary, but that wasn't the end. In a rage-fueled parking lot confrontation, she lunged at Ethan with a heavy paperweight, screaming obscenities. He dodged, but she tripped, slamming her head on the pavement. Concussion, handcuffs, and charges of attempted assault. The story exploded when Channel 5 News aired the HOA land heist, exposing the Hargroves empire as a house of cards. Public outrage surged. Residents picketed Willow Creek, chanting for justice. The HOA board resigned en masse, the organization crumbling like dry rot. Victoria's trial was a spectacle charged with fraud, conspiracy, breaking and entering, assault. Witnesses painted her as a monster, unrepentant even as evidence mounted. I did what was necessary, she spat from the stand, no hint of remorse. The judge sentenced her to 6 years in state prison, her empire liquidated. Restitution followed. Over $2 million distributed to victims from Hargrove assets. Under Nevada law, Ethan claimed the half-built warehouse as compensation, ironic trophy. Sophia gained custody of Sammy, who blossomed with a trust fund truly for his care art therapy sessions, turning his world vibrant. The family's lies unraveled. Victoria had never used a dime of the stolen funds for him, pocketing it for yachts and villas. The community healed in waves. A town hall drew over 200 residents, voices rising against unchecked power. Property values spiked 20% without HOA shackles, and a voluntary neighborhood group emerged, focused on mutual aid, not domination. Ethan transformed the warehouse into a guest house and office for his new venture, Summit Resolutions, specializing in HOA disputes. Business boomed $140,000 a year, partnering with Rebecca for legal muscle and Sophia for forensic accounting. They celebrated annually with Liberty Day barbecues, toasting to resilience. Sammy's artwork adorned the walls, and Ethan's property became a quirky attraction, revenge tourism, rentals at $350 a night, drawing folks eager for tales of triumph over tyranny. In prison, Victoria festered, denying guilt in bitter letters. Parole boards rejected her pleas, citing her unyielding arrogance. Her family thrived without her shadow, Sophia rebuilding honestly, Sammy laughing freely. Ethan visited once, offering forgiveness through the glass. "You thought power was everything," he said calmly. "But look what it cost." She glared, unbowed, but the bars spoke louder. This saga wasn't just survival. It exposed the rotten systems where the elite bend laws like twigs, sparking debates on HOA overreach and corporate greed. Ethan's fight proved one man could ignite change, turning a bulldozed dream into an empire of justice, where adversity forged unbreakable bonds and profitable legacies.